Hello, and welcome to the Art of Action Editing. We're very excited you've made the decision to join us and begin mastering the editorial techniques of this exciting film genre. In this project-based course, you'll be cutting together a real Hollywood fight scene as you learn all the workflows, techniques, and skills needed to edit action like a pro. We'll start by discussing the fundamental building blocks of a good action scene, including character development, choreography, camera work, and picture and sound editing techniques. Then, we'll move on to the hands-on editing lessons. Alright, let's begin by taking a look at some examples of high-level action editing in movies. And then, we're going to talk a little bit about the action genre in general. You should see a button below this video called Complete Lesson. Go ahead and click that. That'll mark this lesson as finished. Then, go ahead and click the navigation button at the bottom right to start watching the next lesson, titled Introduction to Action Editing. Alright, we'll see you in a bit. The art of action editing is a fun one to learn, so you're in luck. Let's start at the beginning and take a look at a common definition for the action film genre. The action film is a film genre in which one or more heroes are thrust into a series of challenges that typically include physical feats, extended fight scenes, violence, and frantic chases. Action films tend to feature a resourceful character struggling against incredible odds, which include life-threatening situations, a villain, or a pursuit, which generally concludes in victory for the hero. Okay, so that's a pretty good start. But if that's the definition of an action film, is action editing just any editing that you do when working on an action film? No, of course not. Action films will make use of drama, suspense, comedy, and other editorial styles. Likewise, comedies and dramas might have action-y sequences in them, like this scene from the 2004 comedy Shaun of the Dead. Okay, so here you see the main character, Simon Pegg, fighting off a zombie. There's a ton of action, but there's also quite a few jokes and funny moments peppered in. It's a great example of a quality action scene existing within the confines of a comedy film. So I'm going to suggest that we define action editing like this. Action editing is a style of editing that creates an increase in the pacing of a film through a combination of fast cuts, on-screen movement, and exciting music. We could add a lot more to that definition, but I think it'll serve as a pretty good general guideline for us. Alright, so let's take a quick look at three of the most common types of action editing scenarios you might encounter. The first one's a classic action scene, the car chase. And next we have the foot chase. And last but not least, we have the mother of all action scenes, the fight scene. As you know, in this course, we'll be focusing on applying everything that we learn about the art of action editing to the process of creating our own fight scene. As you'll see, if you can edit a fight scene well, you'll be able to edit just about anything, because the fundamental techniques and the skills are almost identical across all types of action scenes. Coming up in the next section, we'll take a closer look at the project we'll be working on in this course, by watching the original version of the fight scene we'll be recreating. Alright, see you in a bit. Let's start off by taking a look at the project that we're about to create, by viewing the final film as it was originally cut together. The entire piece is 7 minutes and 45 seconds long. I'll go ahead and play the whole thing for you now.
Did you have fun tonight?
Yes, of course. I always do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You feeling kind of frisky? I noticed the way you were looking at me. I just wasn't sure.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's so in your head.
It's not.
You don't see that kind of movie anymore.
Right.
It was just real, you know?
I wonder who the rat is in my gang?
Oh my god. That's it. I'm not going to another movie with you.
Gangsters generally tend to have this thing called, street smarts.
Admit you liked it, or I'm seriously never going to another movie with
Come
you.
on, baby. The guy's got 10 gangsters in his crew for 30 years, and a new guy comes in for one, and he can't figure out who the rat is?
Admit you liked it, or you're not getting laid for a month.
Like right here, okay? Speed is the essence of war. Take advantage of your enemy's unpreparedness, make your way by unexpected routes, and attack the enemy where he's unguarded. Fucking Chinese dude wrote all this shit like 5,000 years ago.
This may sound coerced, but I loved it. I'm not just saying that because of what you say. I was a step behind, for a second, but you really explained it to me, and now, damn, what a movie.
All right, check this out, all right? Here's another one. Fierceness is an overwhelming superiority of force, right? I mean, it's not attitude, it's not a front. Fierceness is force. You gotta bring the hammer down. You can't sit here, you can't talk about how you're gonna bring it down.
You gonna buy a samurai outfit now?
Hey, asshole, CEOs and presidents quote from this shit.
What? Baby, what's the matter?
You should have known the guy was a rat.
Oh.
Hmm.
Oh.
Don't even.
Oh.
All right, man, check this one out. Attack promptly where the enemy is most vulnerable. Attack promptly where the enemy is most vulnerable.
Now notice how I'm not saying I told you so. I would never say that. Oh, it's my bad arm.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that hurts.
What, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
2 months.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
All right, check this out, man. Here's another one, okay?
You're so cute. I can't even stand it. It's ridiculous.
What's up, man? I thought you'd be into this.
I am. Hold on. Come on. Good evening. Hey, you spare some change? Our Bentley broke down around the corner. Yeah.
There's, $80 or so.
$80? Hey, I don't mean to be rude, but if the lady wouldn't mind donating.
It's okay.
In there.
You got your money. All right?
We're just gonna go through a purse. Now move your ass.
Talk some sense into your boy here. We got our money now. Just leave us alone.
Leave you alone, huh? Maybe I want to see what's inside her purse, too.
Please.
Please? Get in the fucking warehouse, motherfucker. Now. Don't fucking please me. Get in there now. Wait. Hey.
What? Yeah, stop his ass. Stop him.
Get up.
Got him.
If you are ignorant of the enemy or yourself, you will surely be defeated. It's okay. We're fine.
Alright, pretty cool, right? We definitely get a feel for our characters in this piece before we even see one punch thrown. We get a chance to know the couple a little bit as they walk home from their movie, and they have a little argument about some of the problems with the story. At the same time, parallel editing is used to show the three thugs walking down the street having their own conversation. Eventually, the paths of the two groups intersect and our conflict materializes as the head thug demands their money and threatens the safety of our hero's girlfriend. Finally, after all the setup, the action begins and we're treated to an exciting fight scene that's been effectively and properly set up. You can see that the fight itself is a gritty, realistic portrayal of a street fight. The action is fast-paced, and quick cutting's used to add impact and excitement to the scene. Most of the camera work during the fight is filmed fairly close to the actors, which adds to the feeling of immersion in the scene as if you're witnessing it yourself. The sound and music used during the actual fighting is kept fairly minimal, limited to some tonal ambient drones, a couple bassy hits to accent particularly powerful attacks, and a bunch of Foley effects like cloth movement, punches, kicks, and grunts. In this course, you'll learn exactly how this was edited, and then I'll show you exactly how to cut your own version of it. Now, this is a creative editing course, so the focus is on the art of editing, not how to use specific pieces of software. So, for that reason, you can follow along with any editing software package of your choice, but you should already know how to use it. I'll be using Avid Media Composer 6.5 on a PC, but again, these techniques will apply no matter which software you are using. In the next section, we'll take a look at the way this course is structured. I'll discuss things like the different types of lessons, homework assignments, cheat sheets, and more. Alright, I'll see you in a bit. In this section, I'd like to take a moment to explain how this course is organized. There are a couple of different types of lessons contained in this course, as well as different types of helpful resources that are going to be available to you as you're editing together your scene. Now, let's take a look and see how everything's organized. Some of the videos in this course will be study lessons. Study lessons are meant to provide you background on a particular topic or technique in order to prepare you for the editing process. An example of a study lesson would be something like picture editing tips or meeting the characters. These lessons won't contain any actual hands-on editing. They will, however, provide you with important information about the process. It's very important that you do pay attention during these lessons and take notes on the bits of information that you find most useful. The other type of videos that you'll see in this course are editing lessons. These videos are the actual hands-on application of the techniques that we've been discussing, and they'll lead you through the various stages of editing your own version of the fight scene. In the editing lessons, we'll teach you specific techniques and strategies for dealing with various picture and audio editing challenges. We'll first discuss the technique, then we'll demonstrate it a few times. Now, to keep the lessons from getting too long, I'll usually leave it up to you to finish editing a particular section of the scene on your own. For example, in the lesson called Adding Key Sound Effects, I'll demonstrate the technique 3 or 4 times, and I'll provide you with the tips and the strategies to guide you through the process. Then, I'll give you a homework assignment, and I'll ask that you complete that stage of the editing process in its entirety on your own, before moving on to the next lesson in the course. Now, I should mention to you that if you had to watch me make every single edit while putting together and tweaking every single shot, it would become very boring for most of you to watch, and that's why we've shortened it a little bit. However, if after watching each editing lesson, you find that you truly would like to see exactly how I complete every single step of the process, then we've provided you a way to do that. Located on the lesson pages, you'll find unabridged lesson videos for some of the more involved editing lessons. These videos will contain screen capture footage that shows me editing the fight scene for an entire stage of the editing process, from the very beginning to the very end. So, in the example that we talked about earlier, adding key sound effects, instead of only watching me add key sound effects and sound design to a portion of the scene, you'll be able to watch as I complete that process all the way through the entire fight. Now, unlike the regular lesson videos contained in the course, these unabridged lesson videos won't contain any sort of graphics or narration or anything fancy. They'll strictly just be a video documentation of the process as I edit together that particular stage. Now, keep in mind, you do not need to watch these if you don't want to. And honestly, like I said, for most people, these videos are going to be a bit too long and a bit too boring. But I wanted to include them with the course just so that you'd have complete access to watching me complete the entire process in case you wanted to see exactly how I handled a specific cut or a specific moment. If you find them useful, great. And if you don't need to worry about them, and you can just ignore them. So, as I mentioned earlier, each hands-on lesson is going to assign you some homework. These lessons will typically introduce a new stage of the editing process. They'll teach you a new technique, and like I said, they'll demonstrate it a few times, and then they'll assign you the homework of completing that particular editing stage across the entire cut. The homework could be as simple as something like, go through the entire cut and look for opportunities to add wide shots. Or it could be something a bit more involved and time-consuming, like finish blocking out the fight scene based on our script and master shot reference. Either way, you'll need to complete each lesson's homework before moving on to the next lesson, because each stage of the editing process is going to build upon the previous one. At the end of the course, after you've completed all the lessons and all the homework assignments, you will end up with your own version of the fight scene that's going to be polished and professional looking. So, what if you run into some trouble on a particular homework assignment and you get stuck? Well, don't worry, we've got you covered on that. We've provided you with cheat sheets. In this course, we want to make sure that you never do find yourself stuck on a certain lesson or homework assignment and just can't progress forward. Beneath many of the lesson videos, you'll see a link to a video cheat sheet. Now, this is essentially a QuickTime of the edited scene with all the recent updates applied up until this point of the course. For example, in the lesson that we talked about earlier called Adding Key Sound Effects, you'll see a version of the cut with all of the key sound effects already added. This cheat sheet is actually a QuickTime with all the sources labeled in the top left corner, as well as the time codes. So if you need to recreate your scene in the same way that we did ours, you can follow along pretty exactly. Alright, so what's next? Well, coming up, we're going to learn a bit about the psychology behind fight scenes and what makes them so popular. See you in a bit.